So here's the deal. The pattern we followed in the last several videos isn't how you'll be writing apps in Elixir. So why would I show you a pattern that isn't typically used in Elixir? Well, it's not typically used because you're usually not writing terminal apps like we did. What we just did would be a pretty good pattern for the type of application we wrote, but the real reason I followed the pattern I did is because I think it provides a pretty good introduction to functional programming concepts, which can be a struggle to people who are new to functional programming. So what are these concepts I'm referring to? Well, we started by creating good data structures, the candidate struct and the election struct. Then we wrote a bunch of pure functions to transform the data structures we created, and finally we dealt with the necessary side effects for our application to work. In my mind, the most important concept in what we did over the last several videos is that we eliminated side effects as much as absolutely possible, and when we needed side effects, we tightly controlled them and limited them to just one small portion of our app, the run function. I've got a question for you. Just for discussion's sake, imagine that the application we wrote over the last several videos is going to get used by thousands of people at the same time for all sorts of different elections. Okay, this isn't very likely, but just hang with me for a moment. Let's just say there are 10,000 different elections that will be happening all at once. So would the code we just wrote be able to scale to handle all these different concurrent users? Let me get right to the point here. Would our data model, this election struct right here, accommodate 10,000 different elections at the same time? Well, the answer is not really the way it's currently written. However, we could actually make our app work in this high concurrency scenario, which would require tens of thousands of the structs, but only if we used what is probably the most important feature in Elixir. So what is this important feature I'm talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is Elixir processes, and that's what we'll start to look at in the next video.